Dave, I have breaking news. The Sora amiibo is coming out in February. Are you excited? How many are you going to pre-order?
I'll help you pre-order yours.
You know what? I can use the help. I'm looking for like one to keep in the box, one to keep sealed, and then one to keep for retirement. Trade around and maybe get the Solid Snake amiibo. Who knows? I got goals.
Yeah. So we are, a non-Sora podcast. No, I'm kidding.
It could be,
are
Dave.
Digital
It
Days.
could do numbers. It could do numbers. When you walk away, do you hear me say, "Finish the line, Dave. Finish the line"?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Damn it, Dave.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Simple and clean
know that we are digital.
is finish the line, Dave.
What are you referencing? Kingdom Hearts?
The song.
Okay, I haven't played them.
It doesn't matter. It should just be in your heart somewhere, deep in there.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Okay. Fine, Dave.
But I do know, the line that I do know is that we're Digital Days Gaming. We're a weekly podcast that posts every Thursday, 6 a.m. Eastern Time on podcast services on the internet. So we also are, you can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Digital Days Gaming, youtube.com/Digital Days Gaming. Those places you can follow or subscribe to us for free. You can turn notifications on so you know that when we go live, typically on Wednesday nights, about 8:30, 9 o'clock. But you can turn notifications on so that whenever we do go live, that you get notified that we are live and you can come watch and hang out and listen. And then there is a bunch of other links in our show notes for you to join Discord, Facebook, follow us on social medias, just kind of as we get ready to go into 2024, help the show grow. And, it's been, 4.5 years, a little over 4 years. So just trying to get some more ears on the show, tell a friend to tell a friend, all that stuff. So, but all that is linked in the show notes, and join the Discord for for our community. That's kind of where we're pushing a lot of the stuff to, is Discord. We're trying to do a little bit, just because there's voice chats in there, there's easier thread organizations in there, and then just the communication stuff of where you're able to, if we play on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation, of the easiest way to integrate everybody into parties and groups is appearing at the current time to be Discord.
Yeah, it really helps that Discord's not run by dumbass Iron Man to dumbass Tony Stark. So Discord's good right now. As far as I know, someone please let me know if Discord's terrible. But
right.
At least I know people can see messages on the Discord server.
Yeah. All right. And we are going to jump right into the news. And we got some random video game trailer that came out.
Yeah. So Grand Theft Auto 6 had their trailer. It was planned to go live Tuesday. But apparently some kids released the trailer on Monday. The rumor is it was potentially some Rockstar employees' children released the trailer, and then the Bitcoin bros got a hold of it. So the trailer was all over TikTok and Twitter and YouTube. So Rockstar just was like, okay, we're just going to release a trailer now. And it didn't stop them from doing numbers, because as of right now, it's over 110 million views. Over on YouTube, and it's the most popular video on Twitter, even though they didn't post it officially on Twitter. It's like the most popular tweet on Twitter. Trailer was 90 seconds, lots of Florida craziness. In the Rockstar way of doing things, there's just a lot of references to real life stuff that people are like, oh, that looks like a cool character. It's like, that was a real person that they're basing that character off of. And we got to look at the main protagonist, and then also I believe going to be the other protagonist. It looks like it's a Bonnie and Clyde sort of scenario. And the trailer ended with it saying it's launching in 2025 to consoles, but won't specify PC.
So I guess GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 came to PC after console, correct?
Yes.
So it's par for the course for Rockstar to, it's par for the course for Rockstar to do this. However, I think that it will not be a year. I could see it maybe being a month, 6 weeks after it launches on console. However, we're not going to know about that date until after it releases on consoles, because they're going to try to get you to buy it twice.
Yeah, I have a feeling if there's a mid-console refresh, like a pro system, then that's when the PC one will come out as well, because that's basically kind of what happened
that
last
makes
time.
sense, yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up getting something like that happening here, but I think there's too much money on the table for them to delay a PC version of the game at all. But the trailer looked fantastic. Like, it's a beautiful looking game. There's a lot of cool things that they're doing in terms of like getting like very photorealistic, like some of the physics with like just like hair, twerking, cars.
Yeah, I mean, all the other stuff, like the lighting, the sand, the beach, the water, everything looked really cool with what they were showing. Obviously it got, GTA 5 got crazy with everything they were doing in that, and this is just probably going to be even more just because there's more water and dirt bikes and ATVs and beaches and, all
you got
that
the
stuff.
swamps of Florida. We saw a little bit of that in there. There's it's a really cool playground, like returning to Vice City, and then now just like the expansion of Vice City is fantastic. Like I was really impressed with this trailer. I never finished GTA 5, even though I own it on 3 platforms. Maybe 4. I might own it on PC as well. I never finished it, have no interest in finishing it, but damn it, I know I'll buy this day one and play it.
Not finish it.
And not finish it. There was no mention of online, but I imagine that's getting its own trailer probably in a year from now, just to hype everything up. Because
I mean, that's where the legs of the game are going to come from. Like this, I mean, what are we talking about here? 15 to 20 hour campaign at max?
No, not with Grand Theft Auto. Like that, you're looking at like 30 to 50.
For just the main storyline or all the other stuff?
No, like the main storyline.
Okay.
So like I would imagine it's going to be in that range yet again, and then the online it's its own beast. The online is going to be kind of tricky for Rockstar though, because GTA 4 online GTA 5 online is so popular. That's going to be a hard transition, either shutting those servers down and dealing with the backlash from that, or making sure everyone transitions over from like, hey.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to do it is to carry your inventory.
Yeah,
over,
just
like your stuff.
Do a thing where it's like, hey, you can buy an apartment in Vice City in GTA 6, and then you can just move your character between them in some fashion.
Yeah. But I think if anybody's going to lose their money and lose all their heist progress and all their upgrades, like they're not. I don't know if the current player wants to restart and re-earn the same stuff again. We learned that with other games.
Yeah, even like getting new things would make sense, but just the idea of like just losing that character that you've spent like 10 years with could be a lot for people to handle or, potentially deal with, especially the people that like, what is it, like shark bucks, whatever their currency is. Like people have amassed a fortune in that game. It's going to be very difficult to like pull people away from 4 unless you have something that like connects them, but not like a cross-play, idea. Like they're not going to open up the airport in 4 so you can fly to 5 because the airport in 5 for you to fly to 6. Like they're going to want you to buy 6.
Like put all your stuff in it. Put all your stuff in a pod and move your pod to Miami.
Yeah, and then it could do like old school MMO things of just like, it's going to take 3 days to move your pod, or you can pay extra to move it instantly. The online is, I think, the thing that is going to be the more fascinating thing to figure out how they do that, because you kind of know what you're getting from a single-player Rockstar game. You're going to get a lot of parody. Some of it's going to be, like, well done. Some of it's going to be a little cringe, but you're going to be doing a lot of crazy stuff. I think the biggest challenge they might have is, like, Grand Theft Auto's always been really good at parodying the current state of America at the time the game comes out, and they're trying to parody America in 2025, in current times. That's going to be fucking hard because things are stupid right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how they handle everything. And, like typically their online functionality does not come at launch. Most of the time it's usually 90 days after launch, I think, for 5 and our Red Dead Redemption 2. I feel like minimum of
so no, I
days.
believe 5 there was 90 days before, or 60 days for the online. And Rockstar, and for Red Dead 2, the online just wasn't very good. It took them like some time to figure that out.
But I think they want players to learn to play the campaign, learn the new mechanics and the different things that the new features or functions that they've added to the game before they do the online thing. And to your point now, they have to put some type of like I think people are going to buy GTA 6 regardless. But to your point, are they going to commit to the online functionality of 6? Like they really got to put that connection and that bridge there somehow. And I don't know the answer. I've never played GTA Online at all. So, but I would it would seem similar to me of like an NBA 2K like create a player where I believe you can move them.
You could do an MLB The Show, so we can speak to that
right,
at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, because I think somebody might be more apt to part with their Modern Warfare character after a year.
Because it's just a number that goes up and whatever. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, it's only been a year, and you kind of know that's become the norm. But like, this online functionality for GTA has been around since 2014.
Yeah.
2015. Yeah, 14,
something like that.
So like this is a long time, like that you've been building this character and experience and level and inventory and outfits and the whole.
Especially when you account for like people that have done RP, like the role playing community.
Yeah.
Like you want to talk about people that are extremely attached to their character. Go to a role play server for Grand Theft Auto. All those people are attached to the random characters they've created.
That's a lot to be like, okay, just nuke it, start over. Because then to your point, like it can, like you were just saying earlier, 6's online failed just because of 5's success. Everybody's like, I'm not leaving 5.
And you're going to have that community. I mean, there's still people that play 4, even though 4 has been like features removed, but they don't want to let go of 4. So the idea that people are going to leave 5 for 6 is going to be like a tall task for Rockstar to do. And honestly, if any studio is capable of giving content that will pull people away, it's Rockstar. And also, if there's a studio that would be willing to just take have the confidence of taking that hit of like, you know what, we'll kill those servers, people are gonna be pissed, but they're gonna come here. Like
our new mode is so good that we're just pulling the plug.
No, they're at the point where they don't even have to say our new mode's good. They just have to be like, you're moving or you're not playing, and people are gonna come.
Right.
We'll see how that goes. I'm sure Jeff Keighley's still bummed out there was like nothing coming to the Game Awards. This would have been like a big this would have launched the Game Awards numbers into like the stratosphere.
Yeah, but we talked about it though. You would have seen like the huge spike and the huge fall. Like, where do you put it? If you put it at the beginning,
you'd put it at the end.
Trumps,
you'd put it at the end, but then it
you know,
swallows the spotlight.
Any of the awards you gave, it's just gone. You put it at the beginning, nobody watches the rest of the show. You put it in the middle, everybody stops in the middle. You put it at the end, and to your point, it engulfs the entire rest of the show.
But if you're Jeff Keighley and you're a businessman, you're probably like, damn, I could have gotten so many more Doritos.
Yeah, but at the same time, Rockstars knows what they have.
Yeah.
Like, they know exactly what they have. Their board knows exactly what they have, and they know exactly what
There is
a
story that the Take-Two people were like panicking and like hoping, like begging Rockstar to like release the trailer. And it's like, yeah, they're probably they when everything started to leak, I'm sure the plans like all got thrown out the window, and it was this kind of chaos. But in the end, it didn't really matter when a trailer came out, as long as it came out.
I feel like at that certain point in time, you are your own worst enemy when you like say like you're gonna have a debut, like you announce a debut. Like Schreier reported that they're gonna have an announcement about a trailer, and then they announced that they have a trailer, and then they're saying it's coming in like 10 days or a week or whatever they said it was, and then like it was bound to be gotten. Like
all right, we'll move on to the next story, which isn't surprising, but funny enough, just because we knew they were going to hit this point. But Capcom does plan to release more Resident Evil remakes. During an award show in Japan, the RE4 director said Capcom is planning to do more remakes, and while they can't announce the next remake, it's either going to be RE5, RE6, or RE5 most likely, one of the RE Revelations games, and then maybe Code Veronica. There's some sales figures in this story that basically said RE4 has sold 5 million copies faster than any other entry in the series since 2009. They also, was it RE3 sold 8 million units, RE2 sold 13.1 million units, so there's huge money in the Resident Evil series. So it makes sense that they're doing this. The reason I brought this up is because, Dave, you are a fan of RE5 and RE6. And those are ones that I feel like would be very interesting to see how they decide to handle remaking those, because those are the lesser popular ones.
Yeah, the least. Yeah, I was gonna say 6 is the worst allegedly built. 6 is the one I enjoyed the most, but I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan, so in terms of an action shooter for me, like,
and that was what the fans didn't like, is it went from kind of spooky and some little like co-op tactical to like, yo, this is just a popcorn blockbuster action movie.
Yeah, which I enjoyed. It kind of got me interested in. It kind of got me interested in the some of the characters, not enough to like play some of the other games. Like, I have no desire to play 7. I've heard really good things about 5, but I think 4 is kind of my understanding is 4 is like their creme de la creme, though. Like, that's their golden. Yeah. So the fact that 4 is doing good is not surprising. And I would love for them to see what they would do with 6 in terms of what the fans didn't like, and see if they can kind of tweak it and mold it a little bit. I don't know how much you can, because the foundation is what the foundation is at that point. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's good for Capcom just to realize of what it needs and what it wants, and or to know what its fans want and to get it to them.
And I like the way Capcom's doing it. They're not just like fully committed to like, hey, we're only doing remakes. They're mixing in new entries in the series in between these remakes. So, like, they're keeping both sides of the fan base happy. The ones that just want to revisit old stuff and the people that want new stuff. They're giving a little bit of everything and kind of alternating between those projects. Yeah. I would imagine if they get to 6, it would just be like maybe less helicopter stuff and more zombies. But this is like the biggest no-brainer, especially when you look at the numbers for the previous remakes. And the numbers for RE4 at 5 million units was the last time they reported it, which was like the month it came out. So I would imagine with all the different sales, and it's up for Game of the Year this year, that it's probably
just holidays.
It's probably doubled its sales by this point, and it makes sense. And the VR mode just came out, I think earlier this week. So there's a lot of stuff coming for it. We'll move on to some slightly bad news, though. I guess good news, bad news, I don't know. But Bioware released a trailer for Dragon Age Dreadwolf. And by trailer, I mean really fancy slideshow. And it basically just showed different locations that are in universe. And unfortunately, the trailer ended with full reveal coming summer 2024.
That hurt your heart a little bit.
Just a little bit. I respect BioWare for doing this.
Yeah. Now you know. Like, and now we don't have to sit there and be like, oh, it wasn't at the Game Awards. Oh, it wasn't at this Xbox showcase. Like, where is it? So now we know. Like,
it's the last 7 Game Awards. I feel like people have been like, there's going to be a Dragon Age trailer, and then there isn't.
Yeah.
I think there's only been one Dragon Age trailer.
But I think at this point in time, it's kind of like they really kind of like put the expectation and they said full reveal. So they could have a trailer at the Game Awards.
They could, but full reveal. What do you think that puts the release if there's a full reveal? Holiday, right? It would have to be
November. Yeah, because full reveal to me is in July or August, and you show gameplay. Like, that's a full reveal. You show somebody playing it, or narrative, a director, the creative director talking over somebody playing it. That's
here's
a reveal.
Mechanics, here's characters, and
and then you can play it in November or whatever, because like November's got to be like BioWare has to release something in late October, early November. Like, they can't. I don't think that they're in a point right now where they can release something like in May.
Yeah, May 2025. Yeah, that would be like very.
Right.
That would be very like.
Just the time frame in general of like when people buy games and when they expect things, and when you see things do well, like it as long as it's. As long as it's been away, as Dragon Age has been away, it has to be something that's front and center when people are out and about.
Especially now BioWare Dragon Age has to live in a world where Baldur's Gate 3 exists, Mm-hmm. And that's a tough world to be in, because that is what you're going to be compared to for a long time, especially if you're BioWare, especially if you're Dragon Age. You're going to be compared to this game. And Baldur's Gate 3, like they keep releasing patches, they keep doing content updates. They just added a new epilogues this past week.
You're gonna be able. I still think you're gonna be able to play it on Xbox next week.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling this week. Like I have a feeling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, after the game, post game awards,
like digitally available this week, and then maybe a physical copy comes in like 2 weeks or something. But yeah, I have a feeling, and I also think there's a chance that it could be like, hey, it's on Game Pass this weekend.
Game Pass has done some sneaky stuff lately with Remnant 1 and 2 just kind of appearing on there without some major announcement.
Which is wild. It's almost like they signed a contract and they don't want people to download it. They're like, let's not advertise it.
Yeah, so it's like, Remnant 2 is like, I feel like is a sleeper hit for a sleeper contender for Game of the Year. It's not going to win anything at Game Awards. It wasn't voted or whatever, but it's in a lot of people's conversations of, games that they really enjoyed this year.
Remnant it's going to make people's top 10s, like the bottom half of top 10s.
So, and then it just coming to Game Pass, like for somebody like me that was kind of on the fence about it, again, like I've always talked about, on the fence about a Remnant series in general, like it's on Game Pass, like I'll try it. Yeah. Like there's no harm.
Yeah, and you'd imagine Baldur's Gate 3 comes to Xbox, like that's going to be...
Like there's no Game Pass chance for this.
For right? Dragon Age? For Baldur's Gate? I think there's a chance Baldur's Gate can hit Game Pass.
Like announced at the Game Awards and available, or in like 60 days?
No, I think
after it launched.
Because Xbox kind of had to eat shit for this game, I feel like there could be a chance for that. Because especially like if you're...
That would be a huge get. I mean, I know everybody hates Game Pass, or a lot of people hate Game Pass. I don't, but that'd be a huge coup and a huge feather in the cap for Microsoft of like, hey, we understand we're, like as everybody makes fun of Phil Spencer and Xbox are saying this, we're sorry, like we weren't able to do this, but here is, here's a way to soften the blow. If you have Game Pass, you can play it right now.
The reason I would say there's a high chance of it is because realistically, there's not enough Xbox consoles out there for Baldur's Gate to really move the needle, and no one's going to buy an Xbox for Baldur's Gate.
Right, because if they were going to buy anything for Baldur's Gate, they would have already bought it.
So I think there's a high chance that Larian is just like, if we are going... Because Larian was like, we're going to just cancel this. Like, and they got really close to it until Phil Spencer jumped in, and there has to be some incentive for it, because this is just basically them doing this out of goodwill, like releasing it on Xbox, period. Because it won't be on Game Pass PC, like, because all the people on PC have already bought that game, clearly based on the numbers on PC.
I mean, I think it could be on PC.
It could be, but it wouldn't be a needle mover for...
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah. To your point, it wouldn't move it.
But if you have an Xbox and you don't have Game Pass, maybe it could be a needle mover for that person.
Right. Well, it goes back to what you and I talked about late August, early September when I was thinking about it. You're like, no, Dave, you're not going to enjoy spending $70 on this game.
They did this. They just added dick physics times. So the dick and balls jiggle.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm not joking.
But
they
I'm sure I know you're not. I can tell by your look on your face.
Added that.
But
not realistic.
It would be. I would be more willing to again download it, play it for a little while until I get hit with a dick, and then I'll stop.
When you create your character, you have to pick one. So you're gonna, but yeah, Dragon Age talk. See what happened? Dragon Age got compared to Baldur's Gate by me like almost immediately.
Yeah, see, you're just as bad as the mainstream media now. Like you're so mean. Like, why do you do that to the developers of Dragon Age? Like, why do you hold Bioware to the same?
Next to know, I'm gonna cut to Raid Shadow Legends ad at one point, at any point, or what is Temu or whatever the fuck all the people are advertising now. Let's put malware. So the next story is more Bungie drama. So Rebecca Valentine over at IGN put out a pretty beefy story about like the current atmosphere at Bungie. The headline is Bungie devs say atmosphere is soul crushing amid the layoffs, cuts, and fear of a Sony takeover. The Sony takeover thing, I believe, is like the biggest thing from this article. And it's something that we've all have been, specifically me and Dave, have been trying to figure out, like, what is that relationship between Sony and Bungie? But according to the reporting, the unrest is at an all-time high and there's a lot of concerns and fears of dying culture at Bungie. Bungie has been cutting benefits and like morale boosting events, and it's all due to like money related things as they're trying to get their finances.
Shocking. Yeah. Like all right. So here's the deal. Like, I pay very close attention to Bungie. I actually know a couple people that work at Bungie. Not like I'm not like friendships but I communicate with them on a random basis. I have not communicated with any of them since I heard any of these layoffs. So I'm just going to put that out there now. But the stuff that you read about Bungie, you hear about in other articles, whether you go all the way back to Jason Schreier's books or everything like that, the benefits that Bungie employees have are like ridiculously sky high.
You get a job at Bungie for some of those benefits.
Correct. So these things of like, having these things that have been taken away from them, like one of the bullet points in our article is like, there's a hiring freeze.
Yeah.
No shit.
But I'm gonna go through some of the things that have been mentioned in the article that have been cut. So reduced travel budgets, elimination of holiday bonuses, keeping its annual Bungie Day virtual. So they do a big Bungie Day where all the devs come together, and it's been virtual. Yeah, and they were going to bring it back to in person after they got purchased by Sony, and then now it's virtual again. There's apparently like a pentalon that they do that's week-long.
It's like a decathlon style.
That's been delayed till next year. They do cooking and knitting classes, and those have been moved from monthly to quarterly, which, yes, this all sounds like kind of crazy and ridiculous, but
this is why people work for Bungie.
Also compensation stuff has been completely like changed around. Something as basic as like new hire lunch program, which is usually like new hires get taken out to lunch. That's not happening anymore, but there's also a hiring freeze. So it's like, okay. Apparently they gave gift cards out to employees on their birthdays. That's gone. And just a bunch of other things that were mentioned in this article and other stuff. So all of that is clearly budget cutting things, but that's a way to just mess up the morale at a studio, because that's kind of why you join a studio like this, because they usually show you all these things that you're signing up for.
Yeah, but at the same time, there are times that every company, every corporation has to tighten the belt for a little while. Now, it's a matter of if it stays tight. Like if like that's the big kicker in like a year, Final Shape is doing well and it stays tight. That's the part where it gets kind of interesting of like, okay, like right now that, it's everything. So I mean, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit though, because
the thing.
Yeah, the reports and the speculation is that it's a 5-person board, and 3 of them are Bungie and 2 of them are Sony. If they don't hit certain revenue projections, then Sony has in their contract or in their clause in their purchase agreement has the ability to take over the entire board, which would then mean that they take over the company, because they wouldn't be a solely independent or they wouldn't be an independent entity with Sony Studios as long as they've got to reach their financial goals. So my biggest question is, who sets the goals?
Those were all probably lawyered up, so that was negotiated on both sides. Like, I don't believe Sony can like move the goalposts at any point. I would imagine that's all predetermined, which is why like it becomes important once this information comes out. Is like a lot of people were blaming Sony for all the things Bungie was doing, and then this reporting basically came out. It's like, no, Bungie's doing all of this because they agreed to a contract with Sony that is backfiring on them.
See, I read them as revenue goals, but you wrote them as financial goals. So now what I'm trying to figure out is like, was one of the easiest ways for them to ensure, like, okay, so let's say that revenue's down 45%, profitability was down 30, it was 30% performing, but if they were, or 35%, and if they were to get under 30%, they get to keep their control. So then they lay off 10% of their workworkforce to get under 30%.
And then freeze hiring. So then your what is it, intake or whatever, your
your wages go down.
And then if you do a year-over-year comparison, it's like, hey, look how much money we saved. Don't question why or how we saved that money.
Yeah. Right, because then the question becomes, like, they delayed, like, the inevitable is they delayed their cash cow whether you think Destiny's good or not good, that is what they're currently bringing in their revenue is Destiny 2, and they've delayed it until the next physical year. So guess what's going to happen to the second half of this year?
And that is also
revenue's going to be down,
and that's also in the report where basically managers at Bungie have kind of been like vaguely threatening that layoffs could happen again, sort of thing, and.
Well, because I don't see a path for them to increase revenue the next 6 months.
No, especially the new season.
The season's out. Well, it's out this week or last.
The new season was supposed to last 3 months, and now it's got to last 7 months. So,
right, and then the stuff that they're releasing, they said, the stuff they're releasing in February, March, April, after the season was originally supposed to end and Final Shape was supposed to be out, is not going to be paid for content. So where's the revenue going to come from? When they had this delay before, right before the Witch Queen, we had their 30th anniversary pack, which was like a $20 or $30 thing. And I mean, a lot of this makes sense now with their revenue stuff, and as they've been pumping some stuff into their microtransaction store. Like there's a Witcher armor set in Destiny 2 now. There was a God of War armor set in Destiny 2 a little while ago. These armor sets are $20 each per class. So if you regularly play all 3 classes and you like these armor sets, you're spending $60 on a cosmetic armor set for all 3 of your classes. So there is a lot of, and I fully expect there to be more Eververse dumped into, more microtransaction stuff dumped into this game in February, March, April, May. Especially if they're releasing content and trying to get more player base in there, and they've got to somehow supplement this revenue. Somebody talked about it on a video that I listened to on the way home from work today. The majority of your hardcore player base, myself included, bought the $100 version of this game of Lightfall when it came out, and that took care of all 4 seasons. So I haven't really had to swipe my card or done anything else in Destiny 2 since January of last year, or January of this year. And that money's already spent, and that money's already accounted for, and that money is already in their decreased revenue. So, and their player base is at a low. Like, this is the lowest. Like, last week was a new season, and that was the lowest their player base was. And a 7th-month season is just going to continue to lower that player base.
Yeah, no, and this makes you just... this kind of shows you that, Bungie was not in a good place, which is why they sold to Sony. They probably thought they can maintain their stuff to keep being an independent studio, even though they're owned by a big corporation. And you also have to kind of question Sony of just they knew they were in a hard financial spot, and they did set this contract up that at any point they can take it over at any time if things don't hit their goals. And my question would be, why? What's the point of...
Right. Well, my thought is, who's worse?
That's
Bungie for signing the deal or for Sony for writing it?
And that's what I was getting to, of just Sony knew what they were doing when they signed Bungie. Bungie did this, but Bungie's almost sounds like they had no choice, and they're continuing to fall down this path that is going to lose their independence that they won't be able to break out of like they have previously. And
right, because they were able to break out of it previously with success. They bought their way off of Activision. They're like, okay, that's enough. And they bought their way out of Microsoft. So unless Marathon is batshit crazy amazing, I don't think that they have it. There's an exit door in this contract that benefits Bungie, but the exit door is about a millimeter high.
No, and then when it comes to PlayStation, it's just okay. So you buy Bungie knowing there's a chance it can fail, and then you can completely take them over. But what do you
own
with
them?
Because you take over Bungie. I'm sure, was it Parsons is the CEO?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's gone at that. As soon as they take over the board, he's gone. The co-founder's gone. People would just leave Bungie at that point, and then you own the name. Congratulations.
Right. The three core people that bank up that board that you just take over are all going to take their money.
And then all the people that lost their benefits and perks over the last year or two are also going to be I'm leaving, I'm going somewhere else.
So then, not to pile back on because you were a little bit excited, but then you get a gimped Bioware because you get a Bungie.
Yeah, no, it's not. I was actually going to make the comparison to when remember when everyone left Infinity Ward, and Infinity Ward was lost for a couple years. Eventually they bounced back a little bit, but
well, it's you can talk about it. Is this Rocksteady or WB Montreal? Is this Platinum A team or Platinum
Yeah,
B
no,
team.
and that's what happens to Bungie, and then at a certain point, you're like, okay, but
that's not my Bungie.
And also, did that benefit factions and all the other live service games? Like at one point.
So I saw something on Twitter today I wanted to ask you. So Ryan McCaffrey on IGN put out like, if Sony takes over Bungie, does Marathon become a PlayStation exclusive?
It depends on how far along it really is.
Do you think, how bad do you think it would be for Marathon or whatever this third project is to become PlayStation? You know what? I'm just going to focus on Marathon right now. How bad would it be for Marathon to become a PlayStation exclusive, not be on Xbox, or maybe even not?
I
be
think
on
it would
PC
be
at
on
launch,
PC.
Although I think it would. I think it would be. I agree. But how bad would it be for them to remove an announced?
Honestly,
platform?
they already lost the FTC case. I think Sony at that point wouldn't give a shit. Like, who's going to complain? Like,
right. But have we? I don't know. I guess I have to do some digging myself. But have we ever seen a game get announced for multiple platforms and then only launch on certain platforms? Do you know what I'm saying? Everybody kind of like circles back to the Starfield thing, but Starfield was never announced.
Yeah.
For PlayStation. Like Marathon had a logo with a tentative release window, and it had the Xbox and PlayStation and PC logos.
I mean, we've had Switch versions of games canceled. Before, I want to say that's happened with Xbox already. Like they lost a game before. I believe it.
Before announcement or after it was announced and said it's coming to Xbox, and then they had to come out and say it's not coming to Xbox.
I'm trying to remember what game it is. No, I know what you're saying. Like this has happened, but not for anything big. It's always been like small stuff of like, hey, we couldn't actually release it on this platform after all.
Right.
But nothing as big as, like a game from Bungie or a game from a major studio, a prestige studio.
Because that was the biggest. That was always the biggest concern about the Bethesda acquisition and the Activision acquisition is you're going to take something away from me, like that I've always had, and you're going to take it away from me. To be fair, nobody's had Marathon in this form, so that nothing's been taken away. I mean,
we found out about
like
Hi-Fi Rush had a PlayStation version,
right?
But that was after the fact.
But again, like the. Right, but I also feel like that it like there wasn't a Hi-Fi Rush logo that said coming to.
Yeah, no. We found out after the fact. Like it was never made public until the FTC.
There's been I guarantee you, there's been hundreds of games that have like the developer of Final Fantasy had the goal of putting it on all platforms, and then Sony's like, here's $100 million, and okay, we can have it just on yours, just as a very broad.
No, it happens all the times behind closed doors. But I think the only thing I can think of is this games that just got canceled because development issues or something, but nothing at the level of like the next Bungie game or the next Bioware game, Bethesda game. Nothing out there and crazy like that.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Is like I think that when on paper, I don't remember what year. Like I always thought that, and now it looks better on Sony's part. But I always thought that Sony got a pretty good deal when they bought Bungie. At the time when they bought Bungie, Bungie was doing better than they are now.
It seemed like a big move.
So it seemed like it was like kind of a good bargain deal.
Now you know why it was a bargain.
But right, and so that's the thing is it circles around to I want to know who sets the revenue goals, and I want to know how they're calculated, and we'll never know that answer. And then what is deemed successful?
Yeah,
and those are all things that are very quantitatively hard.
You just want
to
know like who won that negotiation, right? You're not implying that the goalposts can move or anything. It's just like they must have agreed and looked at charts, and
because I'm sorry, but when you're 45% below revenue, you fucked up in your goal.
Yeah, you fucked up completely. And is that one of those things where like the goal was set, Bungie's like, we can hit that, and PlayStation was like, they can't fucking hit that, sign that deal. But at that point, it's like I said earlier, what are you buying at that point? Like, okay, cool, we took Bungie over when they were down.
Wow, you own the Destiny IP and the Marathon IP, but it would be like Nintendo buying the Dragon Age IP. Like, okay, what are you going to do with it?
It would be like, oh, cool, you own the Destiny IP, the thing that lost 45% of its revenue, and also the only studio that could put out a sequel is now battered. Like, you're not going to give the...
And then what do you split and divide and conquer this live service studio and send them to your other studios to be live service advocates after they just failed the live service game?
Implanting them in other studios and having them...
Allegedly failed the live service game,
Implanting them in other studios, being like, listen to these guys. Like,
and the crazy part, like the thing that's ridiculous and crazy to think about, and you're gonna roll your eyes when they say this. They can nail final shape and then get all the players back, or get a good chunk of them back for 6 or 8
but
months.
The only thing I would say to that is they can get players back, but I don't know if they're growing new players, and that's the problem when you have something that's been out for as many years as that.
Yeah, when you have 4 million people playing it, and now you only have 1.5 million people playing it, and you get back to the 4 million people playing it. Did you do better?
Yeah, you're not going to hit 5, but that's what. Hopefully, their revenue and financial goals are just to maintain that line. Otherwise, like if there was growth for Destiny in those goals, then it's fucked up. Like they're not getting growth out of Destiny.
No.
But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Like, man, now I'm interested in Final Shape, and Marathon too.
Michael's just gonna go to Steam. Let me see Steam numbers.
Yeah, let me look at Steam numbers. Okay. Let me see how many people on my friend list are playing this Destiny thing.
Well, and then trying to incorporate, like to your point, like growth at this point in time, like trying to incorporate, and I agree with you, trying to incorporate new players. Like it costs like, I think somebody ran the numbers the other day. It's like $240 right now for you to buy all the content to play Destiny that's available in the game. And then not just time and the confusing nature of it. And like at this point in time, just focus on your players. Like focus on me. And make the final shape what I wanted to see and end this Darkness saga. If you want to start this new chapter or whatever, like later, and let veteran players have all their stuff, but then figure out a way to onboard new players better, like go ahead and do that with a new dialogue and a new chapter and a new storytelling arc. But don't try to do it in the last year of like your final chapter. It's the final shape. Is what it's called. Like you're ending this 10-year saga versus light versus dark, and
sounds like
you're starting a new episode.
More interesting. You're
starting a new episodic a new episodic system. You're starting after the final shape. Like focus on that then. But get back to that $4 million player, that 4 million player you had.
Get Nolan North and Peter Dinklage in the voice recording booth and have them record personalized messages to all the people that have left that game.
Yeah,
your ghost misses you. Like, please come back. Start getting sad with it. Sending out those emails of like, oh, you haven't been on. What are the vehicles called? Sparrows. Yeah, get on your Sparrow or whatever. Like, it's been a while. They got to start doing something, or they just hit Marathon as hard as they can, like over the next year of just like, here it is, here's what we're doing. But
those are two different genres, man.
No, but that's where you're gonna get your growth. Right.
No,
so
I know.
At a certain point, you're just like, you know what, we'll.
Yeah, but like at the same time with the revenue drop though, like don't they got to make sure, like if Marathon's really not coming until 2025, the only thing you have making money for you in 2024 is Destiny 2. Like, so then you got to move all your eggs to Destiny 2 right now, right? To get to protect your company from being taken over. It depends on
what, again, if we know what the numbers are, because the numbers could be Destiny related and it could be like, hey, Marathon related. We don't know if they're yearly goals. Like they could be like based off sales
goals, engagement goals. They could be anything. Like, and to be fair, if they can release Destiny 2 Final Shape and the episodes in physical year 2024 or physical year 25, whatever it is, and release Bungie and release Marathon in the same 12-month physical year,
they'll hit their goals and they'll be like, I'm Jim Ryan now, and they'll be fine. They'll be leading everything.
But if Marathon flops early on for the first 90 days or whatever, like, and they try to revitalize it like other games have, they probably won't hit their goals. And then you're going to see Herman Hulse come out with a Bungie shirt on, say, I own you now.
And we're at the point now, I was just talking about this with one of my friends, where like, if a game doesn't hit within the first 90 days, they just shut games down now. Like, they don't do the Ubisoft thing of like, you know what, it's going to be good in 2 years. Like, don't worry about it. Yeah. They just companies shut games down now. Like, shit, Rumbleverse, smaller game, but like that game didn't seem like it was hurting, but they were like, didn't hit the goals, shut it down. And then there was like 3 or 4 other multiplayer games that shut down that year too. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that if Marathon doesn't hit within 90 days, PlayStation's just like, we took over.
Start working on gummy bears better. Whatever this other game.
Actually, whatever it is, it's Destiny 3 now.
I know.
But yeah, that's all I had for news.
All right. What we're playing and watching. So I felt like I've told you, like we just found this out today, Angela and I did when we were sat down and watched a little bit of Hulu. So I've been rewatching Burn Notice. We've been rewatching Burn Notice. It's on Hulu. And we have 46 episodes left to go. I don't know how many we've watched, but we have 46 more episodes to go to finish the season or to finish the show. And Hulu gave us a notification today that it's leaving Hulu in 11 days.
Ah, fantastic. So four episodes.
And we can't find where 4 episodes. Yeah, we can't find where it's going. USA Network is owned by
it's
Peacock.
probably going to go to Peacock.
Right, but it's not confirmed to go to Peacock.
So
yet.
Usually how those deals work, they can't announce that it's coming when it's still on a service.
Yeah.
So,
and because White Collar's leaving Hulu as well, and White Collar was another USA show, so it's super interesting because she's like, it's on Freevee with ads, and I'm like, okay, like it's got to go somewhere. Like I don't believe this is just gonna. Yeah, I don't think this is just gonna go nowhere because she's like, we're just gonna have to finish it. I'm like, I can't watch 3 hours of Burn Notice every day.
Yeah.
It's just I can. I said, but I have other things to do.
No, that's when you end up hating Burn Notice. Especially as shows tend to get worse. They're like final seasons. It's gonna make things like way harder.
Yeah, I still am enjoying. I've been kind of slowly watching it, but I'm still enjoying Bel Air on Peacock. Speaking of Peacock, so that newer Fresh Prince. Just kind of it's a good story with some cool throwbacks to the Fresh Prince show. So I think it's done some. I enjoy it. It's done some good things. And then I've been playing a little bit of Super Mario RPG. Really kind of enjoying that. I don't have my Switch. I did buy that other Switch dock for down here, but in my office. But I don't have my Switch currently docked to my television, like plugged in HDMI, because 99% of the time Owen's playing it. So I don't enjoy playing the Switch in handheld mode as much as other people do. So that's kind of slowed me down a little bit from playing it, but the quality of life changes they made in it, the way that they kind of I feel like the way they teach you how to play the game and the timing mechanics, I feel like that all that's been updated and better. It was already a really cool looking game when it came out 20 years ago or whatever, and now it's even with more of the polish and the shine on it. It's really, really good. I'm enjoying that tremendously. And then Ubisoft was kind enough to send us early access to Avatar, Frontier of something. I can't think of the full name
Frontiers of Pandora.
Thank you. So Frontiers of Pandora. The reviews are out today. I've gotten a little bit of time with it, not as much as I wanted. I have no recollection, full disclosure right off the beginning. Again, Ubisoft sent us a PC code. They sent Michael a PS5 code. We just got the PS5 codes like within the last 24 hours. So we really haven't had a chance to dig into those. I'm playing it on PC. I have not seen the second Avatar movie, and the first couple times that I tried to watch the first Avatar movie, I've fallen asleep. And I think it's more just because of the time when I choose to watch them. So I don't know a lot about this game or about this world, other than I know who the Na'vi are, and I know that the humans are bad. This game looks phenomenal, like in terms of the functionality, and the forest and the water and all those things. Like the look of it is just great. Early on, I don't know if I like this teenage style dynamic of the Na'vi characters, like back and forth. Apparently, there's like a 16-year slumber break that's happening early on in the game, and then you're fighting to take Pandora back. Early on, I'm only like barely a couple hours in. The map feels very clunky, very hard to read. I did not read them, but I saw the scores that hit today, and they're actually a little higher than I expected them to be. Yeah,
turns out it's a decent to good game.
Right. And I'm not to the point where I'm even remotely capable or comfortable scoring this game. But I do get a little bit of, I'm trying to be tentative when I say this, I get a little bit of Far Cry reskin.
Oh, 100%. Like when they first announced this, not only because it's Ubisoft, but because like when you just saw it, it's like, okay, they just did Far Cry, so if you like the Far Cry mechanics, then you're gonna probably have fun with this, and it's just a matter of if you like being blue.
Yeah. So again, I'm like, there's a little bit of crafting system in there. I'm getting some Horizon Zero Dawn things in there with like a weapon wheel and like only Horizon in general. The main reason is like you kind of pick up the sticks and craft a bow or craft arrows, like, which is very common in other games as well. But the most recent thing that I played is Horizon.
Sorry, I'm gonna Google
so
how do Navis fuck. How do I think it's with the tail. I wonder if that's a. Okay. Continue.
Your algorithm is probably so broken. But there's just a lot of.
So you do have to link the small tendrils that come alive and then they braid into ponytails. Yeah, they do have sex with their hair. But that's weird. I wonder if that's a mini game.
There's the and I don't have the answer anymore, but we've talked about this before. There's like, hey, here's your headquarters, and here's your hub world, and here's your cosmetic vendor, and here's your weapon vendor, and here's your here's the things for you to trade, like that and this is your mission, like this is your hub area, this is where you get your next mission, and you have all these conversations, and it just gets mundane when it feels similar to other things. Like Anthem did this, The Division does this, Far Cry did this, Avatar
Wildlands,
does this. I mean,
Assassin's Creed. Like, it's an Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
I feel like it comes down to like, do you like Ubisoft games? And if your answer is no, then the second question is, do you love Avatar? And if the answer is like not really, then it's like, this isn't going to do anything for you. It's not going to change your mind on Ubisoft games. Right. It's not going to change your mind on Avatar.
And I enjoy Ubisoft games mostly, but I'm not a fan of Avatar. So I'm kind of in this point where I'm like, do I really care about this character? And like they have these like right at the beginning, early on in the game, they have these T-shirts on of like the school that they were attending before they got put into the freeze chambers, and then it's like you're talking to a Navi and he's wearing a shirt that says TAP, like just like, and he's got a hat on backwards or something, and so it's just like I understand what they're trying to do, and maybe it'll make more sense down the road as the game keeps going. But early on, I'm like, why do I care about this? Like. So like, and that's it, to be fully honest with you, full disclosure, that's also inhibiting my ability to continue to push forward.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like push forward eventually, but I can see it being an uphill battle in terms of like I don't.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is gonna spark your interest to be like, you know what, maybe I do need to rewatch those movies and.
Yeah, and it might. I mean, I think James Cameron is a great director, and some of the other stuff that he's done, I enjoy. And but at the same time, most people when you talk to them about Avatar, they're like, "Oh, it's just one of the coolest looking movies ever." Yeah, what it's about? Oh, the water was cool and the people. I'm like, what was it about? The things and the special effects. And I'm like, what was it about?
That's the thing that like has always been fascinating with Avatar, because it was the first one was a gigantic success movie, like I think it was like the highest grossing movie of all time. The second one, also super high grossing movie. I mean, it has a theme park, and it's hard to see, like, you don't see the cultural impact it has. It almost feels like it didn't have a cultural impact whatsoever.
Yeah.
But then you look at the dollar amount, the dollars it's made, the theme parks it's made, and it's just like, so that means people are out there that love this, but they just don't talk about it. Like, they don't. Yeah. I've never met anyone who's just like, my favorite movie is one of the Avatar movies.
Well, and again, I don't mean to demean this, but I've never met, like, to your point, I've never met anybody that has a Na'vi tattoo on their arm.
They have to exist. But like, maybe they're just.
But you'll see somebody that has like a Terminator logo, or you'll see somebody that has. You know
what?
Like a Marvel logo, and
that
Avenger
might make
logo,
them the greatest fans, because one of the most annoying thing about fans is they don't shut the fuck up about it. And Avatar fans are like, respectfully, I'm just gonna enjoy this privately.
Yeah. But it just seems like everybody's like, oh, the movie's so pretty, that's why you have to watch it. Yeah, but give me like the elevator pitch about the story. Oh, the special effects and the action scenes. Okay, like, what is it about?
Like
and they're just like blue people in water.
Yeah,
like,
no, and that's the fascinating thing. It's just Advent has said it's my favorite 3D movie, and it's most likely your favorite 3D movie because it had amazing 3D movie effects. Yeah,
cool 3D. Yeah,
but yeah, I don't really know anyone that.
And then it to top it all off is. It's existing, like the video game is existing in this weird little separate bubble.
Yeah.
Like we're multiple years away from the other, like, what, 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah, I think it was shot back to back. So yeah, maybe 2-3 years to where it's like, okay, is this lore then? Like, is this the thing that's going to hold you over?
Yes.
And then Ubisoft just released it in December, which is just like, so did you have confidence in it, or did you have so much confidence that it didn't matter when you released it?
Or did you sign a contract with this company that you had to release it in 2023?
Yeah, to like hold off people because was it last Christmas?
It looks like it has co-op. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it has co-op.
Can we put tails together and braid them?
I don't know, and I don't really want to learn that with you.
I'm just saying.
You can learn that with Advent or something.
Okay.
So.
I'm just saying the Navi when they touch tails.
But again, I feel like like the game itself looks like the first time you came out, it looks awesome. Like when you come out of one of the headquarters things of this dark area, this warehouse or whatever, or this building, and you come out into Pandora, it looks awesome. It looks amazing. The map looks huge. But I can already and I'm trying not to do it, but I can already feel like fuck the Ubisoft fatigue when you pull the map up and look at it. Like it's so big and it's covered by clouds. Like
you just get that anxiety of just like there's so much to do. So you said the map was kind of like out there. Does it do the Ubisoft thing where you pull it up and there's just too many things to do and you just immediately?
No, right now it's all covered in clouds, but trying to figure out where you want to go and where you want to set a waypoint. You can't really zoom in on the map, but you can tilt the map, which makes it even harder to look at. And I'm just like, that doesn't help me. It's like, oh, you can tilt it below the clouds, but you still can't see anything.
I bought Assassin's Creed Mirage a couple weeks ago, and I think like the first time I got into like the main hub world that you're in, or the open world, and I opened my map, and my first reaction was like, man, fuck this, because it's just too much stuff on the map.
Well, it's like I still get a little bit of like PTSD from like Batman Arkham City when you're like flying through the city, and Spider-Man 2 did a much better job of it, but you're flying through the city in Batman Arkham City and the phone's ringing and the Riddler thing's over there.
You hear someone's being like
calling you over
stabbed
there
in an alley and you're gliding to them and you're like, is that a Riddler trophy? And then you go over to the Riddler trophy.
Yeah. Versus like Spider-Man 2 handled it pretty well. Like, like a random crime would show up, or like a spider bot would be hanging around somewhere that you could pick up, or a Sandman thing was there, but you didn't have to do them, and you knew it'd still be there when you came back.
And then if you flew by them...
But the traversal was so fun.
And then if you flew by them, Miles or Peter would be like, sorry, I can't handle that right now. And they would have a reaction to you leaving that, abandoned.
Versus, like, I still have like little triggers in my head of those damn payphones ringing in Batman all the time. No matter where you went, just that payphone ring now. So I'm like,
turn that into your phone ringtone.
No.
But Dave, is there anything else you've been playing?
No, we did some shopping and stuff this week. With my daughters back in town, so we did some shopping. But yeah, no. Other than that, kind of was paying a little bit of attention to college football, watching a team get screwed that didn't deserve to get screwed. But I mean, Florida State got jobbed, so. But that's either you're a fan of college football or you're not.
Yeah. So for me, me and Sarah are playing Overcooked, trying to go for the platinum on that. So we're just going through the all you can eat edition, which is basically just the first game, second game, and all the DLC. It's got its own set of trophies. So we're going through that just kind of as when we're not both tired from work, trying to do a couple missions of that. I played a game that I played the Suicide Squad thing, but I can't talk about it, I guess, other than I played Suicide Squad with some people because that has a NDA, and I love alphas and betas that watermark the shit out of the screen while you're playing, because I love that they take it serious, but it also makes it very difficult to see things. But yeah, that is something that I interacted with, but I can't talk about. But I'm sure people have leaked footage all over the internet for those interested in the game, because people, I guess, don't give a shit about getting sued. But yeah, those have been the main two things that I've been playing. Did get a code for Avatar yesterday, but I downloaded it last night and got home from work and had just enough time to record with you, so I haven't had a chance to really jump into it. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. And then that's really it. When I do have time here or there, like 5 or 10 minutes here or there, I'm still playing Tetris 99, because that's just the thing I can, if I have 10 minutes before bed to play a game, that's the game I choose. Otherwise, I'm just watching random YouTube vids and messing up that algorithm with the random thoughts that I have and that I want to see a video for.
Avatar
yeah, I mean, I did that just as a Google search, but I could look up a video and share links with you, Dave. It could be it could be a mechanic in the game, and if it's not, just email someone. So I hopefully I'll dive into Avatar a little bit this weekend, and then we can talk about it next week. As someone who doesn't really like the Ubisoft open world games and doesn't really like Avatar, so we'll see if that game can do anything for me.
We'll see how far Michael gets in before he just has to control it.
Yeah, but honestly, that might make me want to just do dumb things in the open world because I don't care. And it's been a while since I've just had an open world game where I'm just like, I don't care what happens or if things look silly, as opposed to like Spider-Man where I'm like, no, I'm playing this legit, seriously.
My outfit's gonna be right all the time.
Yeah, and Avatar, I might just be like, I'm just gonna put on whatever gear I can find and go from there.
Again, also Avatar's in first person.
Oh,
at least as far as I've been, and it's been in first person. And I don't know if I love that.
That's weird. I didn't know it was first person. I thought it would be third person, but I haven't played it yet, and we'll find out relatively soon. But that's it for me, Dave.
All right. So we did not get any questions this week. So if you guys have questions for us as we get closer to the holiday season, you can send them to us using hashtag AskDigitalDays. You can put them in Discord in the Ask Digital Days channel. You can post them in the Facebook group. Just say question for the show, or you can use Ask Digital Days there. Advent's telling me to go see Godzilla. And take my emails,
actually, that's something. I saw Godzilla -1, and that movie was fucking great. It's probably my favorite Godzilla movie at this point.
Can I take my 8-year-old son to it?
I mean, monster violence. It depends on how you feel about monster violence, but it's also
doesn't bother me.
It's Japanese, so subtitles you'd have to read. So I don't know if you can sit through like a.
I don't know if I have the attention span to do that.
It's really
right
good.
now.
The action's great. Like, it's one of those movies where you're just like, how are they able to do this movie on such a small budget when the US version of Godzilla has like 10 times that budget and can't do it right? Like, the practical effects in it, the digital effects in it are just so damn good.
So it's Avatar Godzilla?
What?
It's Avatar Godzilla because it looks pretty.
No, but like it looks. It's one of those things where it looks pretty, but just from an idea of just like how did they do this with what they were working with. There's a certain. It definitely feels like a throwback to like older Godzilla movies.
Yeah. Advent, he does not read well yet right now. So
yeah, I think there's a dub version coming out soon. Because this one has just been so good.
He said take him to 4DX. It'll make up for the
It
subtitles.
would. You have Godzilla shaking the chair. Like, you'll just see Owen go flying at one point just across the theater.
I don't know if we have a 4DX theater in Metro
You
Detroit.
have
I'm sure
to.
we do.
AMC usually has them. But they usually only have like one inside an AMC theater because it's a whole experience.
Is that the thing when we were at E3 that everybody wanted to go see?
Yeah, where they
Superman.
I think you guys all saw Wonder Woman, but it was at the time. Yeah,
I didn't go because that was like $37 a ticket or something.
So it was
like
when 4DX was first like a thing. It was like $45 a ticket. They're not $45 anymore.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, no,
but yeah, no, it'd be worth giving it a go. But yeah, highly recommend Godzilla -1. It's funny because Godzilla King Kong had its trailer drop the same weekend, and it just looked bad in comparison. Like, they really should have dropped that trailer at a different time.
And Angela must be asleep or just not paying attention at all because she's actually not saying anything. So usually she would be like, no.
But yeah,
I love my wife, but she'd be
not seeing that.
No way.
But yeah, highly recommend that. And now, Dave, you can take us home.
Yeah. All right, so you can follow us on social media at Digital Days Pod. You can follow Michael at The First MJC. You can follow myself at Good Dave Hunt. Like we mentioned before, Facebook group and Discord server are linked in the show notes, and our Patreon tiers are patreon.com/digitaldaysgaming, where there's different tiers in there where you can access to our Spider-Man spoiler cast that we just recently recorded. And so that way if you depending on the tier you subscribe to, you'll get the Spider-Man episode, and going back, you get multiple other tiers. We are going to reformat our Patreon in 2024. That's something that Michael and I are working on, hopefully to launch it probably by like February 1st. As part of the build. We've been briefly talking about it, but we just need to sit down and finalize it. So in the meantime, if you have any feedback on our Patreon, whether you're a subscriber or not a subscriber, so if you have positive feedback as a subscriber, negative feedback as a subscriber, positive feedback as a non-subscriber, or negative feedback as a non-subscriber, we would love to see it and read it. So please send it to us. Something as simple as, I just don't do Patreon. That doesn't really help us. I get it. And if you don't do it, that's fine. It's just a different way for you to support us. If you have done Patreon in the past and you stopped, maybe tell us why. And if you haven't done Patreon but you're interested into it, ask some questions and we'll answer them. So, but again, no pressure. Listening to the show, downloading the show, sharing the show is the best way to support us and help us grow. These are other avenues if you choose to do other financial things. Like if you want to support us on Twitch, that's great. If you want to use your Amazon Prime account and link it with Twitch, support us that way. That's great. Just remember, it doesn't renew every 30 days, and check it out and make sure it's still active. Those are all great ways, that are free ways that you can support us, and do not feel obligated or pressured to support us financially outside of those ways at all. So it's just another avenue for you. So other than that, Michael, do you have anything else?
That's pretty much it. We'll just keep working on these games.
Cool. I hope everyone has a great week and keep moving forward.
See ya.